have no idea what's going on here. YouTube Live will not let me go landscape. You guys know how much I dislike portrait. Sorry about this. It just won't do right. Anyway, I'm on the road, headed home in Panther. 499,521 miles. We are rolling. A few minutes ago, I seen Nick, dropped him off some parts. See if this thing was landscaped, I could set it up in my instrument cluster area. But this portrait, I don't know if I could do that. Let me try. Ooh-ah. Hey, there it is. That might work. A little crooked, but it seems to be going. So it is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Have a happy and safe holiday season. I want to give a special thanks to a couple people that sent me a donation in honor of Christmas. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. My buddy Willie Gilly and a couple other people. I'll get that right. Do a proper shout out tomorrow. I got up about 3:30 this morning. Hit the road about 4:30 this morning. Headed back to Cincinnati. So I'm rolling right along. I entered into Tennessee about 16 minutes ago and headed towards Nashville. So I'll be rolling through Nashville, I guess, in about an hour. From there, you go around Nashville, you go up into Kentucky, Bowling Green, Elizabeth, I think it's Elizabeth or Elizabethtown, then up into Louisville. I'm pretty sure right near the border of Tennessee and Kentucky, there's a town, I want to say it's still in Tennessee, called White House. I usually go through there and get gas. It's the last gas stop for me before I leave Tennessee. However, I probably won't need gas at that time. So, I'm just going to keep on rolling. Up, just passing a couple of state troopers. I have no idea how fast I was going because my stupid phone is blocking my speedometer. And I'm behind somebody. Man, I was probably doing about 10 over. I was behind somebody, so maybe they cut me a break, not come get me. Anyway, yesterday went well. Main reason I went down there to Alabama, actually, I'm sorry, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, was to help a guy with coolant leak, man. Playing coolant roulette with Volvos, not a good thing. I tell people, you keep coolant in these cars, you keep oil in them, they last a long time. Just keep those fluids in there. So he was concerned about him losing coolant, and fortunately, yesterday, as soon as we kicked it off, found that coolant leak pretty quick. Some people like these silicone hoses. I'm not a real big fan of them. Can somebody let me know if you guys can hear me talking? Can you guys hear me talking? Do-do-do-do. Testing 1, 2. Can y'all hear me talking? Hello? Anybody hear me? Alright, good. Glad you can hear me. Yeah, I'm about 60 miles south of Nashville. And anyway, some people like those silicone coolant hoses. They look real good. Silicone's supposed to be nice and tough. And man, I hear of more horror stories with people blowing those silicone hoses than anything. They just blow out, split right down the middle, bam, they're gone. Then you got to pull over because you got a low coolant life. Anyway, in this case, the clamp on the upper radiator hose that connects to the thermostat housing was on just a little crooked, wasn't sealing that hose properly. It was leaking down onto the thermostat housing, running down the front of the engine, getting on the oil filter, and of course when you drive it blows back. So anyway, got that taken care of, got that thermostat housing thing all cleaned off. I don't know if you guys seen that video or not, but man, you gotta tighten those things pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Alright, silicone tears real easy, it sure does. And Merry Christmas again to everybody tuning in. So anyway, we got the coolant leak taken care of, replaced the ETC. The ETC connector on that thermostat housing deal, connection was real loose. You can tell when you got a bad electrical connector because it develops corrosion, kind of like a green pasty look on it, and that basically means your connection is not real good, it's not tight. So I squoze that female pin a little bit on there and stuck those things on, test drove the car, seems to be giving a good reading, the fan cut on and off at the proper temperature, so we think we got that taken care of. After that, did a couple of CV axle boots on both, I guess all four of those. And usually I take those CV axles totally apart, lay the bearings out, wash that stuff up real good and degreaser or whatever. But this time I decided not to take the bearings out of the carriage. I just put degreaser down in there, sloshed it around real good, poured it out, sprayed it out with brake parts cleaner, then let it sit and dry for 15-20 minutes. I think I got all the old grease out, packed it real good with new grease, and those Volvo axles will live another day. Now his boots wasn't torn totally open. He had a hole in one boot, the other three were cracked. He wanted to get ahead of it to save his CV axles, which is great. I got a message from somebody a couple days ago. They had a CV axle boot torn, wide open. Didn't even recognize it was a boot. Build your CV boots. He found some kind of product that is a CV boot that you put on the car while everything is still together. You don't have to take the tire off, the wheel off, none of that stuff. It's a boot. So anyway, what you do is you cut away the old boot, you put this new boot in place, you pack it with grease, slide it over there and clamp it on. Man, when your CV boot is torn wide open, hey, greetings from Turkey. When that boot's torn wide open and you're driving around, your tires are kicking dirt up in there. You're getting dirt, rocks, gravel, sand, dust, bird feathers, bird crap, people's saliva, anything that's on the ground is getting slung up on them CV axle boots. And inside the boot, if it get in there, it's getting on your carriage, getting on your bearings, and all that stuff will eat away at the bearings, especially dirt, grime, rocks, and sand. Now, if you got that going on and you think the axle's still good, take it apart and clean all that stuff out. If you just boot on top of all that dirt, it's just going to continue to wear the CV axle out. So my opinion is get all that stuff cleaned out. Hey man, what's a reasonable price for a timing belt water pump replacement? if you let your timing belt break, it will destroy your engine. 99 times out of 100. There is a couple of instances that people's valves didn't get bent enough to matter. I don't know if they're bent or not, but a couple people. So I'd say 95% of the time. So anyway, I'm sad to say I don't set prices for anybody. So when somebody asks me how much I should pay for this or how much I should pay for that, I always say check with the price of the dealer. If the dealer's charging $1,200 for that job, they must think that's a fair price for the job. I know what somebody else has to go through to service your car, the risk they're taking, the liability they're picking up. I just don't set other people's prices. Ask them how much they charge. If you don't like the price they quote you, go on down the road. But in general, going through a dealer or reputable repair shop that's very good at this, knows how to do it right, not going to butcher it up, you're probably looking at $600 in labor. You can find somebody to do it cheaper, may end up blowing up the engine in a few months. You know what they say, you get what you pay for. So that's my take. I am generous. I try to help people out. I normally do stuff if somebody's paying. I do $50 an hour, but I don't have the shop overhead and all the expenses involved in running the shop, especially these people with these dealerships and these real expensive locations that they have. So anyway, let me see what this next thing is. Somebody paid about $800 for parts and labor last time. Had my timing belt. Was in Florida. Will give it a go myself this time. So do it yourself. You don't like people's labor charges. Get it done so you don't blow up your engine. So yeah, man, I just don't have any control over what people charge to keep their business going. I used to sell real estate. Pound for pound, price per dollar. I was probably the most expensive real estate agent in the state of Arkansas. It's what I needed to keep my business going. People asked me to cut the price. We normally ended up raising the price. It's just the cost of doing business for me when I was in real estate. So I just don't. But do get it done. Timing belts, heater cores, coolant leaks, oil leaks. Gotta get that stuff done, man. So anyway, I got done tinkering around somewhere around 9 last night. Took me about 38 minutes to clean everything up. And took a shower, made the video for today, last night, put it on a timer to be released this morning. So that's why that video got broadcast pretty early, because I made it last night before I went to bed. Put on a timer to get released 7 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. If you got a question about a Jaguar, if it's a general car question, I can probably answer it. Some things about a Jaguar, I know, not everything. There is a good source, Jaguar forums. You can hit those folks up. But go ahead, ask away. I'll see if I can safely read the message. If it's a long question, go to my website, email it to me, robertdiy.com. I can't drive like I'm doing and read a half a book on the front of my phone. Just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna hurt myself trying to answer your question. Let's see if I see anything. How do you find Volvos for sale? Like the older years, like you and a few find a few online. Sad to say, these things find me. I'm Robert DIY, the Volvo guy on YouTube. I get messages almost every day. Hey Robert, I got this Volvo, you want to buy it? No. If you want to give it away, I'm your guy. If you asking me, do I need another Volvo in my life? No, I don't. Now, Craigslist started charging, so not too many people are willing to pay $5 to sell a $5,000 item. I don't know why people are so cheap, but to me, I remember the days when I was running ads in the newspaper, paying $30, $40 for 2 lines in the newspaper to get no results because the ad was lost in the newspaper to try to sell something. Now, people can upload 24, 25 pictures on Craigslist. They sit there, put all the text they want, front and back, but they too cheap to pay $5 for the Craigslist ad. I don't understand. Now, I tell people, in my life, where I don't have a real job because of my life circumstances, every $5 counts. But if I needed to sell a car, I would do $5. So now they switch. People are doing a website called Next Door Neighbor or something like that. And people are doing Facebook Marketplace. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the richest people on the planet because he is the king of the bait and switch. He baits you with free stuff. I told my daughter when she was 2 years old, when she put her hand out to grab something, I said, what are you doing? I'm getting this. That ain't free. Ain't nothing in life free. They selling people water. You selling people water. Ain't nothing in life free. So Mark Zuckerberg, he gives you something that you think is free. And when he got that hook set nice and deep, like all the way down past your throat, down into the stomach, into your chest cavities, wham! Set that hook. Now you gotta pay. You gotta pay to play. I've heard of people recently selling things on Facebook, and now they got it set up so you can pay through Facebook for Facebook protection, and then they're whacking the people with fees. It ain't big fees. Fees nonetheless that people wasn't expecting. And then they jacking you, making you give them your legal personal information to get your money out of their system. It's a trolling trap. It's a trolling snag. So you can find them on Facebook Marketplace. You can find them driving around, sitting in people's yards, sitting on different things like that, you know. You just gotta find them. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I meant to title this video Storytime. I'm gonna tell this story, then I'll try to scroll back in the comments to answer any questions somebody might have. The guy involved in this story, he may be watching this video right now, I don't know. Nonetheless, it's a true story. And I'm not going to tell you his name and address, so it don't matter. Anyway, I get a call. Robert, my car is broke. My car is broke. Okay, man, somebody's riding in my blind spot. My car is broke. Okay, so if I get in your area, I'll help you fix it. It don't happen. I didn't make it to the area. My car broke. Man, I don't kind of like that model. Get another car. Man, I wish I could find an R. Okay. Couple days later to that person. Why did I do that? This person contacted me 72 times about this vehicle and buying it. Somehow got me jammed up in the middle of it. Instead of them sending the people money, they sending money to me, asking me to relay that money to the person. Dude, handle your business. You're not my child. You're not my daughter. I got two people I'm responsible for, in my opinion. One of them is named Diane. The other person named Elizabeth. Yeah. Just not. Anyway, I'm going along with it. And then I tell the person this car is going to need work. Anyway, long story a little shorter, they really can't afford the work that this car is going to need. So I tell them, I say, man, this car is going to need some work. Well, I'll work on it a little bit. I don't want to be nickel and diming no car deal with you. I got my own problems. I don't need yours. And then somebody else contacted me. Robert, I got this car I'd like to sell. Hey, why don't you contact that guy? Anyway, back and forth. Now he's buying this other car that probably does not need work. Appears to be a beautiful car. He's going to get that one. So he's backing out of the deal on the first one. While he's backing out of the deal on the first one, he's got a deposit up. Because if you're going to tie somebody's property up in a purchase, you should put a deposit up. And if you back out of the deal, guess what? You should lose your deposit. Now, he's asking me for the money back that he sent me, and he's asking me for the money back that he paid as a deposit because I introduced him to the guy. Now, you said you was going to buy this guy's car. Why am I being asked to refund your deposit? Alright, I'll play along. Thank God I had a couple bucks. I sent the guy back his money, and I sent him his deposit back. But of course, the guy with the first car that needs work, he ain't getting back no deposit. So I'm out of money. I think, you know what? I can do the work on this car. Why don't I go ahead and buy this R, fix it, try to get my money back out of it that way? Because I really can't afford to lose a couple $100. That hurts. So I'll try to get my money back. So I go get the car. I got to pay the balance. I'm okay with that. The car needs more work than I expect. I'm putting money into the car. So now, I'm literally into this car for $2,500 that I had no intentions on buying when all this started. Alright, I think I can get my money back out of it. I'll make it nice enough. So the guy gets the other car, beautiful car. 2 weeks later, calling me about problems with the newer car, with the nicer car. Hey everybody, public service announcement. These Volvo 850s, the youngest one is 25 years old. If you put your key in the 25-year-old car, turn that ignition to start it, guess what? Something's liable to break. When you got a 25-year-old car, something could break every day. Why are you calling me? Grieving. Oh man, my heart is heavy. I can't believe it. It's got a leak. It didn't catch you on fire and burn 3 of your kids up with it? I mean, fix the leak. You grinded on for it. Well, you know, you told me about the car. So now I gotta hear about every time. Hey, I sent my daughter to college with an S70. About a week and a half, 2 weeks into the deal, her being in college with her car, somebody hit the car. She calls me. This is my daughter, my only child. Dad, yes? Guess what? What? Somebody hit my car. Oh, really? Okay, bye. Click. Said the key word. It's her car. Not my car. Nobody hit my car. They hit her car. When they hit my car, it's my problem. When they hit your car, it's your problem. So she does what most daughters would do. She calls me back. Hello? Did you hang up? Yeah, I hung up. My phone is trying to overheat. I might have to pick this thing back up. Let me disconnect the charger. Maybe that'll cool it down a little bit. Ugh. So anyway, she calls me back. Dad, my car. I said, okay, but like you said the key word. The magic word, the key word was, that's your car, not mine. You got your problems, I got my problem. Bye, click, and I hung up again. So she calls back again. Wait, don't hang up, don't hang up. Well, how can I help you? She said, well, I just want to make sure I get this right. I said, okay, but you did say the key word. The key word was your car. They hit your car. So she said, okay, I got that. Let's help me process through this a little bit. So she asked me a couple questions. I answered them. She handled her business. Why is this grown person that lives 3-4 states away from me calling me about their coolant leak? When my daughter gets a coolant leak, she handles her business. If I'm around, I'll help her with it. If I'm not around, she knows she has to stay on top of that coolant. So I play along. This was a crazy morning. I was getting a lot of crazy messages. So I said, look, there's a video that tells you how to find coolant leaks. Did you watch the video? Oh, I watch a lot of your videos. That ain't what I said. Did you watch the video about the coolant leaks? Yeah, I'm sure I seen it. It's not what I said. If you got a problem today may be the day that you want to watch that video. Just a thought. Well, I'll do whatever. Okay, not the answer I was looking for, but the conversation goes on, still texting me about this coolant leak. So I said, look, man, if you're done with the car, let me know. I'll come by it today. Because I think you got a real good deal on the car. So he says, something, how much you give me for it? Well, for one, I never seen the car. For two, the car is 27 years old. Number three, I don't need a car. I got like 11 cars. Number four, as far as I know, you done blew the engine up playing coolant roulette. So I offered the guy half of what he paid for it, close to it. Why'd I do that? He sends me back this nasty, aggressive message telling me how much of a scumbag I am for offering him so little for his car that may be busted, 27 years old, and a car I don't need 4 states away. I was kind of joking around when I made him the offer, trying to make a point. Look, handle your business, man. Don't throw your trash on my table. I got my own trash. You know? Occasionally, I throw my trash on the table, ask you guys to help me deal with it. You know, when I'm trying to help somebody fix their car that's totally busted, they can't afford to fix it, stuff like that. But anyway, you know, it's just the way it is. So anyway, cop pulled over. It don't look like he's coming back. Can't really tell. Yeah, he's coming. I don't know who he's coming for. I'm gonna slow my stuff down a little bit, make sure I'm within range. Anyway, he calls me all kind of, you know, I'm a low life person because I offered him this horrible price on this car he just bought. But he did go take care of his business. So I hope I encourage him to do that. he's getting his business taken care of, and all's well. But man, I don't want to be involved in other people's, business on them buying cars and working out deals with other people. Guys are grown. Take care of your own business. So, let me see where I'm at here. Still seeing what this police officer doing back here. I'm still within, I think, a decent range. And it's getting a little crowded on the highway. Nobody's going to be doing any real speeding here. Let's see if I can see any messages. So, to answer that question, check Craigslist. Stay plugged in on Facebook Marketplace, Facebook forums. Check Neighbor Next Door. Look around your neighborhood. Tell people you're looking, stuff like that. All right, so let's see here. And, man, you can check with me. I got cars. The problem with people buying cars is they don't like to go get them. They want it to fall in their lap. 850 T5, cam belt tensioner, water pump, cam and crank seals cost $800. Okay. Merry Christmas from Berlin. Thank you very much. I hope you have a happy and safe holiday season. Here we go here. Yeah, a few more Volvos to Bob. Somebody's Impala's broke down on the side of the road here. Hey, Robert, after your vast experience with both red blocks cars and white block cars, I'm wondering which you prefer and why. And if you think either are better in certain ways, which do I prefer? Which am I driving? If I prefer the red block, man, I would be driving a red block. Now let me tell you something. I think red blocks are better cars when it comes to reliability, cost to maintain them, and the ability to work on them. Man, those cars are incredible. But these white blocks are just a little bit more comfortable and a whole lot more fun to drive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed driving my 740, but man, it wasn't as fun as some of these 850s. Now, I used to think that red blocks were tougher than these white blocks until I bought Red Baron. Let me tell you, man, Red Baron was beat all the way to the other side of the earth. I think the junkyard bought that car from China and drug it back through the ground to get it to the U.S. and throw it in that salvage yard I bought it out of. Man, that car was busted. Headlights were busted. Windshield was busted. Body had 900 dents in it. The engine was blown. The transmission was blown. The fuel tank was gone. The exhaust was messed up. All kind of stuff. I plugged the holes in the fuel tank, put gas in it, started the car, and that car still drove. Still drove. These 850s, anyway, are tough. Whenever you buy a car and you drive it home or tow it home and get it running to see what's wrong with it, and that car needs $5,000, $6,000, $12,000 worth of work, and somebody was still driving that car is tough. So I guess I prefer the white block 850s. The 850s, the interior is a little more durable than the S and V70s. I call them P80B cars. And then you get the P80C cars, which are the cars with the ETM and the computer electronics and the network. I really don't like that because it's harder for most people to fix. I like a car that's cheap and easy to keep on the road. Now, the things that'll put this car down is if you run it all the way out of oil and drive it 80 miles and blow up the engine. It's not going nowhere else. If you let the fuel pump go out, which some people think you don't got control of, but if the fuel pump's out, you can spend $60, get another fuel pump, change it in 30 minutes, and keep on going. These cars are still basic in function and operation, not too much electronic computer stuff. So, man, these cars are easy to maintain. The interiors are pretty tough, not like the door panels in the SV70s, all the latches breaking all the time. And you know, I'm an 850 guy. I'm gonna buy every 850 I can. Now, I'm from the opinion that if you gotta give somebody a car and you got an 850 and you have a 740, give them the 740. It's going to be real hard for them to damage that 740. It's a lot easier to damage an 850. 850, you tear up the suspension. It'll still run, but man, you got to hold on with both hands and keep it on the road. You know, and you can blow the head gasket. It'll still run, but man, you got to put coolant in it 2-3 times a day. You know, transmission's gone. It'll still run, but you got to make sure that you park it in the way that you can drive off, because the reverse is probably gone. You know, you don't have that many type of problems with the rep blocks. Now, the other side of the coin on the rep blocks, parts are not as readily available as they are with the white blocks. You can go to AutoZone and find parts to fix your 850. You really can't go to AutoZone to find any part to fix no 240. Now, it's getting a little tougher to find 850s in salvage yards, but if you need a turn signal and cruise stock, you can get that in 2 days for an 850. You can't get that in 2 days for a 240. Harder to find. I've heard people say that the turn signal stocks in the 240 with the cruise on it can cost anywhere between $200 and $500. Now, I know some of you people can't imagine that, and you say, oh, I would never pay that. Then don't. Some are. You don't have to. You can drive around with your cruise control turn signal stock busted, while somebody else is ponying up $200, $300, $400, $500 to keep the car nice. You can drive your car busted, or you can keep it nice. It's up to you. Your car. I don't got to drive around with my turn signal stock hanging down to my leg or pulling it off and can't turn my turn signal on. It's your car. It's cheaper than buying a new car, but that's up to you. I'm looking at somebody's Nissan, I guess it's a Maxima, driving down the street with the plastic panel under the engine banging off the ground. Man, that's a mess. Anyway, let me see what the next question is. I prefer the white blocks. More fun on the turbo car. Even the manuals are more fun, not turbo. Easier to get parts for them. They're still easy to fix, and they are tough cars. I didn't think so at first, but they're tough. All right, let's see here. In blocks, boy. Oh, well, thank you for thinking I'm a smart guy. Magic word, that's right. Your car, not mine. Who else you gonna call for the best free Volvo advice? I don't mind them giving the advice, but dang, don't be costing me money in your deal. Sending money to me, paying deposits, then you want me to refund it because I helped you find the deal. That's just not right. Volvo Whisperer, that's him. Hey Robert, thank you for all your info. You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you too. I love red blocks, but I think it's just cause my first car was a 240 and was super faithful. Love the 140 78 model. Volvo S60 2005. Those are good cars. Just turboed my NA 240. Trying to get the proper parts was pretty tough. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I know it is. Just call Robert for DIY for all your 850 parts. I have been able to find some parts for some people. I don't mind doing that. What are you up to, Robert? I am driving home from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, going up through Tennessee right now. Going to be going through Nashville probably in about 15 minutes. I'm really close to Franklin, Tennessee. I'm going to be going up through Nashville and then on through Bowling Green, Kentucky, past that Corvette factory, on up through Louisville, and then on to Cincinnati. You are welcome. Any help I've given you. All right, look like I'm caught up on remarks. Still cruising along here. Police hadn't bothered me. Cruising at about 75 miles an hour. Panther is just whispering along. Getting 25 miles to the gallon right now. I'm at 499,574 miles. Not gonna lie, I made a video. My RPM is 3,100, somewhere around there. I made this video playing a little game for people to guess when I would hit 500,000 miles. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to be way past that by now. But as life has it, spent more time around home than I ever imagined. Didn't go on a few trips that I thought I'd go on 2-3 months ago. But I'm probably going to cross that milestone Sunday. My guess now is somewhere close to the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio, somewhere north of Columbus, Ohio, northeast. But old people, if you want to play the game, email me at rspywin@gmail.com. I got about 40 entries into the contest to guess the zip code I'll be in, the closest to the zip code, and the date that I would do it, closest to the date, would win a prize. Got about 45 entries. 3 of them went to the place I told them to send them to. Are we listening, people? I got guesses text to me. I had them called in, which I don't know because I didn't write those down. Those are disqualified. I got about 3 of them emailed in. I got some of them sent on Instagram. Some of them sent through the mail. Whoo-wee, people. If you're going to play the game, you got to play with the rules. The rules was email it to me. So I'm going to go back from the day I posted that video and try to sift through all these messages and get that stuff under control. The ones that did it right, that's going to be easy. I go to my email, I type in guess 500,000, it comes right up. These other ones through Instagram, Facebook, written on toilet paper sheets, all that stuff. I don't know if I'll find those. So if I really only have 3 people that emailed them, I'm probably going to offer all of them a prize. Now, I also reached out to a couple of the vendors, people that I refer business to. The only one that responded in a charitable way was FCP Euro. FCP Euro said, "Hey Robert, we'd be glad to participate in your game. We will have like a coffee mug and some stickers or something like that." You know, it's like stuff that people don't need, you know. I don't need a sticker of FCP stuck on my refrigerator, the back of my car or the bottom of my shoe. Now, I want people to buy parts from you because you support the brand. But do I want to advertise all my life for you? I like t-shirts, regardless where they come from. Yeah, I like coffee mugs. I drink coffee a little bit here and there. But you're a vendor. I'm spending money at. I'm glad you're a vendor, but I don't know if that's a prize. A prize would be like a $25 gift certificate towards some parts I'm gonna buy. I gotta buy the parts. Cut me a little break, But I just wanted to get a couple prizes, so it'd be something fun to look forward to, knowing that somebody in the Volvo community has a car that they literally beat to death with 500,000 miles on it. I think that gives everybody else hope that, man, my car with 160,000 miles on it can be fixed and I can keep driving. If Robert's got 500,000 miles on his car, the way he beats it up, I ought to be able to get another 20, 30,000 out of mine. I mean, really, I'm towing cars, I'm putting big turbos on them, I'm doing 10,000 mile oil changes, I'm playing a little coolant roulette here and there, I'm jumping in it, driving 500-600 miles in 2 days, in a day, Some months I put 10,000 miles on the car. Some people don't put that on their car all year, especially during the pandemic. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I need to make a turn. My GPS hadn't told me. Let me see if this thing can pause and see if I'm going the right way. So I'm gonna wing this. I just am. I don't know if I'm going the right way, but I'm gonna wing it. I think I know the way by now. Heck, let me see if I can start my GPS and get this thing going and reconnect. Give me a minute here. It says I'm reconnecting and I'm live. I'm still going the right way. That's good. PCV problems. All right, let me back up a little bit. Sorry for holding my phone trying to read these messages and watching the road. I have a 145 with just under 500,000 miles. The fuel injector system died on me though, and I was going to carb it because it was really nice. Man, I would actually get with David Bellows on that 145. He'd be the best person to guide you through that. I like IPD, but those folks, man, all vendors are in the business to make money. You would think that somebody like myself that sends them tons of business could get a little bone to play along in their game, but I guess not. Your PCV on your S60, many problems, man, just fix it. Just figure out what's going on with it and fix it. I don't know what to tell you. Shouldn't be a problem. Just needs fixed. Whatever it takes, find somebody's video, take care of it. If you can't find the parts and you're in a situation where you can't get the parts, I don't mind sending parts overseas. Let me know what parts you need. Pay for the parts and the shipping. I'll get them to you. I manual swapped my 850 at 180 because my Auto Blue did every seal and the head PCV and a R turbo and injectors, and I plan to keep my car forever. Awesome. Alright, so I'm going around Nashville here. Got to watch the road closer. Got a little bit of traffic around here. So once I get in a safe place, I will set this phone back down and keep this thing going. I gotta send Diane a text message and send her my GPS location so she can know what time I'll be there. And if Diane calls, that will likely end this live feed. Other than that, if people asking questions, communicating back and forth, don't mind me riding along in this boring car. I can keep this live feed going until the phone breaks or I get there or whatever it is, you know. So I'm just cruising along here, about 63 miles an hour going around Nashville. Got a little traffic. The road's not as smooth as I want it to be. So let me send Diane this GPS location information. I will be right. As I am reconnected, so we're probably good to go. Alright, let's see here if I get this phone set back down without. Alright, I think we're good to go. I'm following Louisville. Oh man, the road split, the sign wasn't clear. But I'm not going to Memphis. Louisville, Kentucky, here I come. Man, it's getting warm. 60 degrees. I need to come out of this sweater or cut this AC on. Jeez Louise. 60's warm for me, people. My blood is thick. They'll tell you that at the place I do my blood donations. Excuse me 1 second while I handle some personal business. Alright, I'm back. About to get the AC on. It's getting too hot in here. Don't want to start sweating. So, no questions. I will just tell little stories here and there. When I decided to start the YouTube channel, I had a decision to make. Hide behind the camera or just let people have Robert DIY raw and in color. This color. Because back then, there wasn't a lot of people on social media doing stuff publicly. So I decided, hey, I'm going to give it all I got. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, tough for you. I'm not going to let that deter me. And I do get some bad, nasty comments, and I don't mind them directed at me. My mama taught me I could deal with that stuff, but I don't tolerate them being directed towards my viewers. So if you ever see a nasty comment directed toward a viewer, 9 times out of 10, if I see it, 100 times out of 10, if I see it, I'm going to delete it. Directed toward me, I don't really care. Other people see what kind of person you are. They'll fight my battles. I don't have to. But anyway, I decided to launch the channel. And then I went another step and decided, hey, if somebody's got questions they need to ask, I'll let them ask me. Best way to do that, throw my contact information out there. That's a very risky thing. I did it anyway. I figure if somebody needs help, I have time to help them. At that time, I had already quit my job, resigned from working. I was a real estate broker, and I couldn't do that and live the personal life that I needed to live to help my family. So I had to hang up real estate. Started doing this YouTube stuff, not for money, just to have something to do to try to help people. My daily prayer at the time was that I would not miss the opportunity to be a blessing to someone that God knew that I could be a blessing to. That's what I did. Went on ahead, started doing my thing. Now, people back then, and they still, they kind of don't believe you really got your number out there like that without some kind of fees on it or something. Phone call came in, interrupted the feed, so I had to bypass that. because I'm doing something else here. And one of the things I left out of my story, when my daughter called me, told me she had somebody wrecked into her car. I'm gonna finish that, then I'll get back to this other story. So my daughter calls, says, somebody hit my car. I hang up the phone. She calls back. I tell her, look, you got your problems, I got mine. I hang up the phone again. She calls me back again and tells me, wait, I need you to help make sure I'm doing the right thing here. So I answered a few questions. But my message to her was, and I told her this, my number is not 911. So if you got an emergency, something's on fire, you got some legal issues, somebody's attacking you or whatever, call 911. You're likely to get quicker help from 911 being out of town than from me, because I'm not in the same town. So when people call me, I know that I'm not the first responder emergency services number. If I got time, I feel up to it, I'm not doing nothing else with both my hands full, I'll be glad to answer the phone. If I'm busy, spending time with my family, got my hands full, I won't answer the phone. This is not 911. So, sorry, but I'm not 911. Anyway, back to this other story. So I publicize my phone number. So if people need to, they can call, ask me questions. Most of the information I learned from Volvo forums and my mechanic, Alan. A lot of information I learned from Matthew's Volvo site. And fortunate for most of you folks, I had 3 or 4 at any given time. I had a car, Diane had a car, Elizabeth had an S70. Something's always broke on these 20-year-old cars, so I'm always fixing something. So I get the information to fix it off of one of the forums. I had the time, because I had quit working, to post a video. One of my cousins told me, man, if you post those videos to YouTube and you get enough views, YouTube can start advertising on your videos, and then they might break you off a few dollars here and there as people watch the videos. I thought, okay, well, that's nice. And God knows, not working, I need money. The people down at the water department, the electric company, and the gas company don't care about my life situation. They care about the services they're sending to my address, and they demand payment. And if I fail to give them payment, they will be glad to disconnect the services that they're providing to my residents. So I do need money, but that wasn't the main point. Anyway, I didn't have cable. I think I probably had internet service, DSL at the time, and I didn't have no other expenses. I shut down all my charge accounts, paid off all my bills, because if you don't have a job, you shouldn't get yourself latched to some kind of thing that you got to make payments on. If you ain't got no income, how you gonna make the payments when they're due? Anyway, so that's that. So I have my videos going up, 1-2 a week or whatever. I have my phone number out there. The very first person that I remember that reached out to me was a buddy of mine in Maine. His name Rudy. Rudy calls me up. Hello, this Robert. Phone is dead. Hello, this Robert. It's strike 2. Phone's still dead. Before I got it out the third time, he said, hello? I said, yeah, this Robert. How can I help you? He said, this is the guy that's making the videos? Yep, this is Robert. He's like, wow, I wasn't expecting you to answer. But that's why I put my phone number out there. How can I help you? So he began to tell me that he was working on these Volvos, enjoying the videos, and the Volvos was helping him through some life struggles that he was experiencing, and he wanted to show his appreciation for the information that I had out there. So he proceeded to send me a money order, sent me a few tools because he seen the tools I was using was substandard, and sent me a nice little note about how he appreciated what I was doing for Volvo people on YouTube. That was great. At the time, I don't think anybody else had ever sent me any kind of financial support or equipment report or nothing off of YouTube. That kind of blew me away. And it did express his appreciation to me. Man, I still use both of those tools, two of those tools as often as I can. Nice quality tools. Man, it made my life easier, and I still remember his donation because he didn't have to. He actually told me that he was using the videos to do a side hustle, and that he kind of almost felt like he was stealing from me because he was making money fixing cars on the side, and I wasn't getting none of the money. Man, whatever helps you out, that's why the videos are there, to help you out. If you got a side hustle off my videos and you making money, great. If you want to share a few of the bucks with me, that's even greater. You know, I get donations from time to time from people that's used the videos or just watched and enjoyed the information, the learning experience they received. Send me a donation. Man, I appreciate them showing their appreciation in that way, because I do need money. Unfortunately, I kind of look at it as living in the United States. It's kind of could be illegal to be broke. You can be broke and get arrested and thrown in jail because you're broke. In this country, in the United States, you can. So that's where I'm at. So one of the first people or person that I remember reaching out to me was my buddy Rudy up there in Maine somewhere, and we still communicate. I guess I would say probably every couple of weeks today. And man, some of the best people I've ever met, got to spend time with, share camaraderie with me. I consider my friends, true friends, are people that I met through the YouTube channel. So yeah, I thank God for it, and I appreciate the channel and all the people that communicate, watch, learn, and express their communication, express their appreciation. I love it. All right, so it says we've been on this live feed for 1 hour and 3 minutes. It's pretty good. I've already passed Nashville. I might have about 20 more miles before I hit Kentucky. And Cincinnati is on the northern edge of Kentucky. So I really got one more state to go through after this one. And let me see what mile marker I'm at. I'm at mile marker 100.2. I'm 153 miles from Louisville, Kentucky. It looks like I have enough gas to make it to Louisville. I'll probably gas up close to Louisville and do that last couple of hours to Cincinnati. Now, it's Christmas Eve. Again, Merry Christmas to all you people out there. However, the junkyard's closed, so I can't stop there and check on the junkyard, see what kind of parts they got. I gotta keep rolling. You pull and pay, pick apart, and all those folks, closed down, and I'm glad they were able to give their people a break. Dealing with crazy folks looking for used parts at the U-Pull Pay. Had a couple of comments. Let me see what the comments are. I ate my breakfast right before I went live, so that's good that I'm not hungry. Is it possible to cancel the PVC drive? Is it possible to bypass the PCV system? Okay, back in I think the 60s or 70s, the tree huggers, and we all need somebody to look out for the planet, somebody's got to do it, realized that these automobiles was not being kind to the planet, discarding all of their unnecessary waste onto the roads, the streets, and everywhere. So they addressed this waste discharge from automobiles in the form of PCV systems, EGR systems, etc., etc. The purpose of the system is to capture waste that the engine produces and not discharge it into the atmosphere or environment. In most cars, this crankcase pressure generates hot oil vapors. This hot oil vapors released in the atmosphere is bad. It's a pollutant. Car manufacturers were at some point required to do their best to contain that waste and stop defacing the planet with that waste. So they have these EGR systems and stuff like that. These systems are unfortunately, a critical integrated part of the function of the car. I say all that to say this. You could probably bypass the system or create some kind of hack to go around it. But by doing that, the car may not run quite right, and you will be discharging pollutants into the environment if you care about that. So somebody asked the question, can they bypass the PCV system? Anything's possible. I guess you can. Do I advise you do it? Not really, but you probably can. I say get the parts, fix it right, keep the system functioning, try to do your part in making sure somebody's grandkids got oxygen to breathe. Let me see what's the next question. Also, can you tell us about your time in the Army? Story time. Oh my gosh. First of all, I wasn't in the Army. I was in the military, but it wasn't the Army. Excuse me. I was in the military in the Air Force. Man, that could be a long story. Let me hit some of these other questions, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of my military experiences. Shout out to that guy. Happy Bell, thank you. Merry Christmas, Robert. May the world bring you the very best new year, and your tools are substandard. Thank you. You can do something about that. My address is on my website. Hi, Seth. Merry Christmas, Robert. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you too. Hi, Robert. Merry Christmas. Just wanted to let you know your videos of the HVAC actuator motor on a P80 helped save me $200. You're the man. Man, where my cut of that $200? Send me $2 or something. All right, so yes, they are. I will. All right, I don't see nothing I can't talk a little bit about my military service. First of all, I'll say this. I think I was a good kid. I tried to be respectful. But for some reason, me and my mom didn't quite get along as well as we probably could. There was times I'd leave home and not come home. Man, I didn't see the point. And I still went to school, but I wasn't coming home. She had to come at the school and check, make sure I was still alive, stuff like that. Still coming to school. She wouldn't get in trouble for me being truant. Anyway, I thought it would be a good idea to get away from Pittsburgh, Braddock, Pennsylvania, and explore the planet. Didn't really have no aim or goal in life. Didn't know what I wanted to do, could do, was good at doing. Because of the education system that I received through grade school, I was reading on, I would guess, a third grade level in today's standards. Couldn't read. And the military was somewhere that I could escape to and probably survive. So I joined the Air Force because I was encouraged by my brother-in-law that would probably be the least stressful branch of service to be in. It was more like living a normal life than any military branch of service. The Marines are battlefield people. The Army is a little battlefield and more military than the Air Force is. The Navy's too much water. I can't swim. Didn't need to be in the Navy. So the Air Force was it. So I had my mom emancipate me because I kind of was thinking, one of us is going to die. It's probably going to be me. She had firearms. I didn't. So I had her sign some papers so I could go in the military, and I left. In the military I was. Now, I went to basic training. Probably was underweight to get in the service. The weight cutoff, I think, was maybe 104 pounds. I might have been 96, 98 pounds. Graduating high school, going into the military. Little scrawny toothpick. Got into the military. Didn't know what career field I wanted to be, and actually tried to go into what I thought was a carpentry field because I had carpentry trade school in high school, and that was a CE, civil engineering type of career path in the military. They shoveled me over to be an aircraft mechanic for the Air Force. So I ended up in the Air Force as an aircraft mechanic. I went to a couple of air bases and I ended up working on C-130 cargo aircraft. And my first duty station was at a place called Pope Air Force Base in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Pope Air Force Base is the airlift power for the Army base there called Fort Bragg. None of this is classified information. You read this anywhere. Everybody's website got all this information on it. Anyway, being in the Air Force at Pope Air Force Base, I then was assigned to work on C-130 cargo airplanes. And that's what I did probably the whole 10 years that I was in the military. Now, I enjoyed that because I enjoyed fixing things and working with my hands and traveling and taking risks and being able to be on my own and being responsible for aircraft maintenance. So I enjoyed being in the Air Force. And while in the Air Force, I got to do a lot of traveling. My second duty station was Yokota Air Force Base in Japan. That Air Force Base is on the outside of a town called Fusa. I think it's Fusa. And that's 30 years ago. And it was about 22 to 24 miles from Tokyo, Japan. While I was there in the military at Yokota Air Base, Japan, I traveled around the Far East. I went to Thailand, I went to Bangkok, I went to Hong Kong, I went to the Philippines, I went to Korea, I went to Okinawa, I went to Yap, I went to Hawaii, I went to, several other little islands and stuff out there in the Pacific. Stayed in that general area for 4 years. While I was there, stationed at Yokota Air Base, I met Diane, who was also active duty military personnel. She was in the Air Force. So we met at a Christian church or on the air base, one or the other, but we all attended this Christian church out in the community off of the air base. It was pastored, or the minister there was a military GI as well, but he was licensed to teach the Bible and run a church, even in Japan, I guess. I don't know. The Japanese community allows government, military, citizens of the United States to do things in the community. That's okay with them. So that's where me and Diane met in Japan. And we got married while in Japan. So our marriage certificate and license are in kanji. I can't read them. I couldn't tell you anything on there unless the date's on there in some kind of way. I hadn't tried. Don't know what good that would do. I'm sure there ain't no loophole in there that would get me out of my marriage. So I just plowed full steam ahead. It is what it is. But we got it framed on the wall. Nice piece of artwork in our family room. And we got married at the embassy in Japan. I believe it was Tokyo, probably. And we also had a church ceremony on the air base 3 days later. Been married for 35 years. At least 35 years. Pretty sure it's 35 years. Now, we didn't have our daughter Elizabeth until we moved back to the States. When we moved back to the States, we ended up in Jacksonville, Arkansas, which is 18 miles from Little Rock, Arkansas. It's an air base called Little Rock Air Force Base. And that is the community that we lived in when Elizabeth was born. Elizabeth went to school in the Central Arkansas area, and she went to college in Arkansas. She moved to Cincinnati first, lived there several years. After she moved to Cincinnati, Diane and I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, while we were in Arkansas, we both got out of the military. Diane got out first, and I got out shortly after her. In total, I spent about 10 years in the Air Force, I did have to participate in a couple of military style functions, or whatever you want, military engagements, war situations. So in one of those situations, I was actually in an area that wasn't secure, wartime battle situation, and I survived that without getting injured. And through that, I was awarded one of the highest military awards at the time. It was like number 6 in the ranks or something like that. And it's called the Bronze Star. So I am a Bronze Star recipient. I volunteered to go on the front line. They didn't make me. I thought it was something I could do to help serve my country and the people of that country that needed the help of the great USA. While I was in Japan, actually, let me back up. While I was living in North Carolina, it's another story. And at Pope Air Force Base, I met a guy, his name was Mason. I believe his first name was John. Phone getting hot again. Gotta try to cool it down. Let me see if putting it in front of this air conditioning vent will help. So, when I was looking to buy a new car, this guy named John, that was a car enthusiast, decided to take me car shopping. And he introduced me, I'll tell the full story later. He introduced me to Volvos, let me know that they were a better built car than most of the American cars in my budget range, and said that I would be better off buying an import car than an American car if I valued the little bit of money I was making. So I first tried to buy a Toyota Cressida, and I ended up buying a Honda Accord because that was $5,000-$6,000 cheaper than the cheapest Volvo. Now, when I got stationed in Japan, there was a retired military guy that lived in the Japanese community because he decided he liked Japan enough to stay there. He was running a tax-free sales facility for Volvos. He sold Volvo cars to military people that lived and was at the air base we was at. So I was able to buy my first Volvo while in Japan, tax-free. So instead of, without all the import fees and all that stuff, it's like buying it directly from Volvo. So, and I know somebody made money, or I wouldn't have got the keys. So instead of paying $24,000 for this car in the US, I paid about $17,600 for the car in Japan. They had a deal set up in Japan. Like I said, the Japanese government was friendly to the US. If you bought a car in Japan and you were military and you drove that car for 12 months, you could then have that car shipped to the US. Now the US said if that car met US standards and you drove it for 12 months in Japan, we would ship it to the US for you for free. So I bought this Volvo, duty free they called it, saved about $6,300 off the price of the car, and then I drove it in Japan for a year, and then the military shipped it back to the US for me for free. So that's how I ended up with my first Volvo. It was a new Volvo 740 GLE. Any other specific questions? I'm glad to help. I'm kind of an open book. I tell you most things one-on-one. I'll tell you almost anything one-on-one. And most things, I'm kind of transparent. You might know that by now. So anyway, excuse me. So I'm in Kentucky. I don't know. I'm at mile marker 6, headed north on 65, headed towards Bowling Green. Let me see if there's any more questions or comments I need to address here. Merry Christmas, Volvo 850R. I know who you are. I'm tired of okay. Alright, so we got another thing. Yeah, I understand that. If I had to join any sector of the military, Air Force it would be. Make sure I'm safe here. Air Force doesn't let everyone in. You got to sign a mighty mouse song salute. Sing, I guess. You know, when I got into the military 45 years ago, it was easier to get into, or 40 years ago. Not as hard. Thank you for the compliment on my personality. On the road with Robert Spinner, this is a treat. Glad you think so. Lackland Air Force Base. Been there, done that. You saluted everything that moved. You got that right. That or you got chewed out. Like you was a maggot. You don't have a merit certificate. It's a 10% off coupon. I might want to use that coupon right now. Man, I went to the store the other day to buy some beef jerky. That stuff was $10 a packet. Man, you know, one of the good things about the DNA that I got from my father, there's not a bone of addiction in us. I don't know any of my siblings from my father that are addicted to anything. Now, you can get addicted to something, especially if it's connected through some evil forces, being possessed or something. I won't get into that. But we just don't get addicted to drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. I said that to say this. When beef jerky hit $10 a packet, I'm out. I ain't got $10 to be paying for beef jerky like that. That's almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes. You don't have to tell me that twice. I am not addicted to beef jerky. I will not have another piece of beef jerky unless somebody gives it to me. I'm not paying $10 a packet for beef jerky. Just don't got that kind of crutch. Now, I take that back. I do have an addiction. I don't know if it's chemical as much as it is, I think, a luxury item. I did pray about this addiction, so hold your ear. Don't want to offend anybody. Run your kids out the room. Folks, I'm addicted to chapstick. I don't know if I've ever gone a day without it. I gotta have my chapstick, man. I do not like the discomfort of my lips being chapped. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. Right now, within reaching distance of Robert DIY, there's probably 4 tubes of chapstick. I'm not going out like that, man. I'm not going out like that. I'm not going to get stuck. You're not going to see these lips right here chapped up, cracking, and hurting, and burning, and skin peeling. No. Before I was able to work for a living, before my mama signed those papers and let me go into the military, I was experiencing that pain and discomfort of chapped lips. I'm living life again before I go without chapstick. I'm not going to do it. one of the first gifts I bought myself was a 3-pack of chapstick when I got paid. Ooh, gone ever since, man. So I prayed about it. God said he didn't mind my addiction to chapstick. So to the rest of y'all that think there's something wrong with my chapstick. All right, let's see what else we got here. Thank you for the safe travel wishes. Like right now, I'm messing with this phone a little bit, reading these messages. There is not a car a quarter mile behind me or an eighth of a mile in front of me. I'm in the middle lane of 3 lanes going in the same direction. I say that to just let you know I'm not being unsafe glancing at this phone and talking to you guys. People talking in cars all the time, fall asleep, drive drunk, don't pay attention, don't use the signals, don't have their car service, got flat tires, leaky brakes, you know, a lot of things going on unsafe on the highway. I do my best to be as safe as need be on the highway, traveling at a moderate speed. I think I'm okay reading these messages. Time flies. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, VEOM. Thank you, Chef. Safe holiday season to you. Man, I disagree with the statement that you wrote about me being addicted to Volvos. Man, I ain't got no problem with seeing a Volvo broke down on the side of the road, keep on going. I don't got no problem with seeing them in the junkyard. I ain't got no problem with people trying to give them to me, telling them no thanks. I ain't got no problem. I don't think we're Volvos. Now, I do like to move around on this planet. I need to drive something. I think Volvos are a responsible, safe choice because they're safe. They're pretty reliable. Number 3, you can buy any model for $500. It's just a good decision. Now, if I went and bought a Cadillac and couldn't keep the thing running, what good would that do me? I can't throw all the junky, nasty stuff I haul around in this thing in a nice, clean Cadillac. Now, I do like being able to do things on the cheap. I could buy 3 Volvos for $500. I could fix one of them for $200-300 and donate it to somebody. I could sell parts off of one of them to pay for my hobby. Not gonna call it a hobby. And I could fix another one up and sell it to make a few bucks because I know what I'm doing. Now, I'm from the belief that every man has a hobby. Your hobby might be hunting. Another man's hobby might be fishing. Another man's hobby might be golfing. Another man's hobby might be chasing women he don't need to be chasing. Not your normal women, those special women. You know what I mean. But we all got a hobby. Now, that make you an addict? I don't think so. But if you got a hobby that is not that expensive, can pay for itself, you can help other people with it, and you can make some money with it, I don't look at it as an addiction. I look at that as a blessing. That's just me. I could go on forever talking about this. But, you know, I don't have to buy a Volvo, and I'll send one to the crusher in a minute. Doesn't faze me now. Where we at here? They should include dental floss with the jerky. Yeah, they should. Pro tip, you can use Teflon plumber's tape. It takes 4 pounds of to make 1 pound of jerky. You can't go a day without Panther. Man, I can't. I've taken other cars on the road. I can't. You're a genuinely cool, awesome dude. Keep up the good work. Merry Christmas. Thank you. You too. Hooper. Catfish. Thanks, Robert. Your videos help me many times. You're welcome. Wish you a Merry Christmas. You too. Catherine. Thank you. Thank you for your videos, Robert. Be safe out there. Merry Christmas. All right, think I'm caught up. I can think of another story to tell. I think I'm really close to Bowling Green, Kentucky right now. You know, real close here to Bowling Green, there's a Corvette. The National Corvette Museum is here. I've never been there, seen it off the highway a dozen times, a couple dozen times. Me and Diane might stop there this year, I don't know. One year, they had an incident at the Corvette factory. They had a sinkhole in the showroom. You could look it up. Corvette factory sinkhole. Google it. Interesting. That thing swallowed up some cars and everything. I can't imagine with the I think it happened while it was closed, like off hours. I can't imagine what the person thought when they opened up that door the next morning and found them dang on Corvettes sunken into the ground on top of each other. It was a big one. Now somebody got a truck jacked up off the interstate with lumber on it. Now how you do that? Truck drivers, jeez, don't start me on that. I guess most of them are good drivers, professional drivers, and some of them are horrible. Oh, here come a Mustang, I got somebody to race. Nah, he's not in the mood. But Corvette factory is close by here. I guess from here, I'm probably 3.5 hours from home. Probably. I'll get home. It says Louisville, 109 miles. Yeah, I'm about 3.5, maybe 3.5 hours from home. Bowling Green is 2 miles from where I'm at. The exit, Bowling Green official proper exit. Historical downtown Bowling Green, exit 26. The Fruit of the Loom factory, right over here where I'm at. Mile marker 23.8. And they got some other outlets over there. For those of you that don't know who Fruit of the Loom is, Google it. Nice, comfortable undergarments. I talk so much I can't whistle. I got a third. Anybody got any suggestions? What I should talk about? What y'all want to talk about? Still got 14 people signed on, watching and listening. When I let my foot off the gas, you can hear Panther's exhaust rumble. Woo! Mustang GT passed me. Really can't race him. I got spark blowout at high RPMs when I'm leaning on it at watt. pull off the rest area and go for my walk for today. It's 55 degrees. Right now it is 1:50. I don't know if I passed the time zone mark yet. Let's see if I passed the time zone. It's 11:50. I don't know why I thought it was 1:50. It's 11:50. And somewhere in the next 30, 50 miles, I'm going to pass the time mark. And my clock's going to change from 11:50 to 12:50 or whatever. It's going to add an hour. So if it's 11:50 and I should get home at 3:20, yeah, I'm 3.5 hours from home. Got a little bit of traffic. After this traffic lightens up a little bit, I'm going to check my messages. I'm going to do it in a safe way. See what you guys want me to talk about next. Met my buddy Nick a couple hours ago. Hour and a half ago. There's that Corvette museum. I don't know if I can show you guys that or not. Yeah, let me see if I can show you guys the Corvette museum. I think that's the top of it right there. That orange thing with the red tip on it. And it says National Corvette Museum on that gray building. That was that. Oh, I can see my speed if I just flip the camera. Now don't y'all go trying to find out what the speed limit is on this little stretch of highway right here. Cars are passing me. I'm not winning. I'm losing this race. Alright, got some space around me here. More military stories. Woo-wee. What are your thoughts on the early Honda pilots? Honda pilots. You know, Honda makes a pretty good car. I don't know what you mean by early. I assume you mean mid-90s Honda pilots. Now, Diane had a Honda Prelude, mid-90s. I think it was a 95, maybe 96, one or the other. I think it was a 95. The 96s were out, but they had this 95 still sitting in the showroom that somebody didn't pick up. Oh gosh. 2003, 2006 pilots, SUVs. I think those are pretty nice vehicles. I've worked on a few of them. I've done tune-ups on them. You probably know that because you've seen the video. I have done timing belts on them. I think it was a 6-cylinder one. I think they're nice vehicles. Now, on the downside of Hondas, in my opinion, they don't survive accidents, and the people in them don't avoid injury and accidents as well as they do in Volvo vehicles. Little bit of a downside. Another thing, they can rust out. So if you're in a rust belt, they rust out pretty quick. You know, 10 years, they're probably rusty enough to be junked. It's just my opinion. I've never owned one. Most people I know never complained about them. They did have transmission issues, from what I understand. But at this point, that's been corrected or repaired. Probably a nice little vehicle to have. Get around town in. What's next up here? Greetings from Switzerland. Merry Christmas to you too. What Volvos do I recommend? I recommend you be like, man. It's really a budget question, you know? What can you afford? You know, if you hit the lottery last week and you got $62 million in the bank, go buy a brand new. Let the people at the warranty center take care of it and maintain it. And when the warranty expires, get rid of it, get another. If you want a car that you can afford to keep on the road and your budget is wrecked, you don't have a job, you're living in your mom's basement, you might want to get an 850. You know, 850s are, most of them in general are cheap to get. Parts are readily available, and there's lots of resources out there where you can fix the thing yourself. You know, you don't have to take it to the shop if you're able to turn wrenches. I know everybody can. If you can't turn wrenches, you need somebody around you that can. Somebody you trust. When I make my videos, my goal in making the video is to make it so that someone that knows absolutely nothing about mechanics can use the video and fix their car. I like to tell the people that my target age minimum bracket is 14 years old. So let's say you're a person that has a 14-year-old son. I think that if your Volvo 850 is broke, you can take this 14-year-old child, look at my video, get the tool list down, go purchase that tools, get your hands on the part, and turn that 14-year-old person loose on fixing your car. And my videos are made in such a basic way that they should be able to pull that off. I've talked to many women that for some reason were not wrenching on their own cars, that did have a teenager in the house, that I encouraged to do that, and it worked out very well for them. And it improved their relationship. When you got a child running around the house fixing your car, instead of, you know, spending countless hours on Instagram or some kind of video game, it's more productive to fix your car so the family can have a running car. Just my opinion. And if you're able to do stuff to help out around the house, they'll probably appreciate you letting them help, and you'll probably appreciate the help as well. Just make sure y'all have the right tools, the right place to work on the car, the correct parts, and you teach them safe ways of doing things, which I try to incorporate in my videos. Safety matters, try to do it safe. Oh man, a wave of tires. Ooh, just hit me. I might have to stop, stretch my legs. I'm not ready for gas yet, but if I get gas now, it should last me till I get home. So I might pull over and get me some gas here in a few minutes. Get me some coffee maybe too. The sky is very overcast. I don't know if you noticed that when I showed the Corvette Museum. It's like a thick layer of clouds as far as I can see. So the sun's not out on me, and it's a little shady. My cruise is not working good. I still haven't changed that switch and my brake booster to get my cruise working right. I need to do that because I like my cruise. I think my foot's getting numb holding this speed so long. I got on the road about 4:30 this morning. Got about 3.5 hours to go. 10.5 hour drive. One thing's good is the road is not overcrowded due to the holiday season. They say that day was yesterday, that everybody and their mother was supposed to be on the highway trying to get somewhere. Oh, excuse me. questions. I recommend Volvos that don't require computer systems to operate. 850s, S&B 70s from 94 through 98. You can get one newer, but the ability to work on them yourself is hampered by the technology that those newer cars have in them. I missed it. Why are you on this trip? I helped the guy. Why am I on this trip is the question. Because I didn't do the trip last month. I helped the guy in Hattiesburg, Mississippi about 2 months ago fix some things on his car, one of which he believed was the crossover coolant pipe on the back of the engine was leaking. When I got there, it was not leaking. The water pump was leaking because of a batched installation, and he had some other things to do. I had a deadline to leave there, and he ran out of parts. And instead of me sitting there 3 or 4 days in the luxury of his facilities that he calls home, I decided I needed to leave. So he had some more parts he ordered, wanted me to install. About 3 weeks later, long after the 38-minute warranty, he called me, let me know he had a coolant leak. And he thought that it was probably this crossover coolant pipe on the back of the engine. I didn't agree. I tried to get him to find the leak. He was not able to find the leak. So he requested that I come down and help him get this car fixed so that he could drive the car daily. Because his other car that he has, $100,000 car, he didn't want to drive it daily. He'd rather drive his Volvo daily, which to me is a testament to these P80 Volvos. If you got a Volvo S70 and your other car is a $168,000 car, how in the world can you drive that and get back into this old Volvo? That says a lot for the old Volvo. Anyway, he expressed to me that he'd cover me if I had any time that I could squeeze in and drive all the way down there and help him. It's 10.5 hour drive. Drive down there and help him. He'd cover whatever expenses were. And he had these other parts that could be installed along with this coolant leak repair. He'd appreciate it. So my schedule's getting flip-flopped around and looked like I could help him, so I did. I jumped in the car and ran down there and helped him. A day drive down there, helped him the next day drive back. I posted a video this morning of the work I did on his car yesterday. Yeah, you know, cars nowadays, a lot of them are built decent, but reliability, man, you know, a lot of that stuff falls back to humans, man. Humans these days, they just don't take pride in their jobs. They don't take pride in their craftsmanship. They don't take pride in their quality of stuff they put out. So stuff breaks more often than not. Somebody's got a pink Lexus ES300M. Wow, this thing is Pepto-Bismol pink. Why would somebody do that? Let me show you guys how pink this car is. Come on, turn around, camera. I'm gonna catch up to it so you can see it. It ain't that far ahead of me. Man, he's boogieing. fast I'm going trying to catch up to this person. But that is a pink car. Look at that thing. Pepto-Bismol pink. Was I lying? Oops. Didn't mean to show you guys that. Oops. I was slowing down. Can somebody erase that off of YouTube? I don't think this road might have that speed limit on there. There are roads, highway interstates in the US that has that as opposed to speed limit. Thank you very much. Alright, let's see where we're at here. Moving right along. Subarus are good too. Yeah, a lot of people like Subarus. Somebody was in an 850 recently, hit a Subaru park, totaled it out. They're disposable. Yes, sir, thank you. I will check for the Volvo you recommended. I have to fix an intercooler bracket on my 850 since it loose right now, so I have to figure out how to reattach it. Those intercooler brackets, I assume you mean those metal plates along the side. Man, if you need an intercooler, I got one laying around. I don't know if you can fix that. You know, that thing is sandwiched in between the AC condenser and the radiator. It really can't go nowhere. I really wouldn't worry about that. As long as the radiator supports are good and you got the bolts through there that sandwiches the AC condenser between that intercooler and radiator, I don't think that intercooler is going anywhere. I wouldn't worry about worry about that bracket on the side of it, if that's what you're talking about. Look out for crazy people on the road, man. I always do. You know, I'm under the belief that 50% of the population of the U.S. are suffering with some kind of mental defect or mental illness. So I think half of the cars on this deal are jacked up, mentally ill. So yes, I do. My phone is complaining about being hot again. I don't know why. So I'm trying to cool it off. Man, I wish I had my little clip that I can clip it in front of this air vent and it can stay cool. So I'm gonna hold it in front of this air vent a couple of minutes or a minute or two to give it some cool air. It don't feel hot to me. I don't have a charger on it. I have no idea why it's complaining about being hot. Doesn't feel hot, but I'm really not touching it. I don't know how it's getting hot. So anyway, traffic on pretty swift here. Let me look at the next remark or question. Address that while I hold this phone. Tick, 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 tick. Alright, Merry Christmas, Robert. Discovered your videos after getting a super clean S70. The previous owner parked it and bought a Tesla. Woohoo! My goal is to keep it on the road longer than their Tesla. That will probably be easy. I'm going to check to see if Volvo has a good all-wheel drive capable vehicle. Oh yeah, they do. Anything after 2003, I would say, is good all-wheel drive vehicles with Volvo. A lot of all-wheel drive Volvos. Now, if you're looking at all-wheel drives because of snow situation, these front-wheel drive cars in general are good for the snow. You just need to get a set of snow tires and put on the car if snow is a situation you have to deal with. So, man, I don't know if they're as good as Subaru all-wheel drives, but they do have some decent all-wheel drives. 2 words: snow tires. Alright, let's see what else. That's why I like the Subarus and SUVs. I agree, cars from the late 90s are great. We also had a 99 E320 R, 98 S90, 960R, 850R, 96 850R. All three cars from the same era were super easy to work on and reliable. The 96R cylinder sleeves cracked, so it is no longer with us. Man, I don't know. Did you pull ahead and actually see the cylinder sleeves crack? I don't think those things crack. I'm going to tell this person, I'm going to call them back. Battery's getting low. I need to deal with that. Might have to sign off here if the phone's getting hot and the battery's dying. But I'll probably come back after I get some gas here. Let me see here. No longer with us. We still have the S90. Just sold the Mercedes-Benz E320 to another Mercedes fan. Yeah, my grandfather had a Mercedes 300 diesel. Supposedly they were way reliable. Yes, sir. I'm in New Jersey, so the snow is a fact. Audis have a good Quattro. Yeah, that Quattro is a good vehicle. Man, who can afford to keep an Audi on the road? Thoughts on a Hyundai Santa Fe 2021 SUV, man? I'm sad to say I have no thoughts on any 2021 vehicle because I do not own any vehicle newer than 1996. I just don't. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for the journey. All right, I'm going to make a couple of phone calls here, get some gas, maybe get a light lunch snack, charge this phone up, and then I'll sign back on in maybe an hour. If you guys want to come back, I'll be back in about an hour. Talk to you later. Can't get it to shut down. Ah, there it goes, finally.